I want to talk today about umpiring. We've I've been thinking about it for a while and I had a request from someone to talk about it briefly today. So I'm going to two main core subjects really. So this might be a bit more of a long one. First thing I want to talk about is umpiring from within clubs. So each club within the league in which you play, if you've got more than one team, you're probably going to need to provide a club umpire at some point. They're going to have some kind of training because first teams generally in the higher divisions get league umpires, which you have to pay for, and we'll come on to that in a bit. But perhaps in the second team, and certainly in the third team, as you go lower down the divisions, clubs are supposed to provide an umpire as well as a scorer and the players. And this can sometimes be difficult, and it sometimes leads to players having to umpire when their team is batting, and that's never ideal because you're constantly swapping over. You come to play cricket, you don't want to officiate either, and who wants to give the mates out? That's what it comes down to, basically. Sometimes you have to, and that can be a bit of a problem. So leagues do canvass clubs on a regular basis to see if any former players or any occasional players would like to take the umpiring courses, and many people do, but there's sadly not enough of them. And these courses are very well run. It's all very structured. A lot of it's online now. The course tutors are really good, very informative, lots of practical information, and some sort of exam room settings. And so it's a good thing to do if you've got the time. But as we touched previously, on the playing participation side of things, people don't always want to give up their time. But if, as a volunteer within a club, to be a club umpire is a really worthwhile thing doing. I've done it a number of times, and it's a nice thing if you can devote some time. Ideally, clubs would need a small group of people who can do it on a rota basis. So that's that. Now I'm going to move on to the the panel umpires who umpire in league cricket. We won't do the sort of county game or the first class game or anything like that. We'll just go up to the Premier League level, say the Northern League. And the thing that strikes me is the age demographic of the umpires it's just been failing progressively. Everyone's getting older. Fewer people of a younger age have come into it, although that seems to be on the rise again. There seem to be some younger umpires coming through over the past year or two. And what gets levelled against umpires is generally a lot of people say you only do it for the money. Well, it's not the case. Unless you're retired and you just want a little bit of pin money, you don't mind standing around all afternoon, that's fair enough. I'm looking at some very rough ideas that I might have at the minute. For example, in a Premier League, let's take the Northern League. I think the fees are something like £40. And then you get some travelling expenses. So you might come out with, I don't know, £55 or something like that, which includes your petrol. But you leave it home at 11:15 on a Saturday for a 1 p.m. start. And then the game's finishing at 7 o'clock. You do your post-match paperwork, and it's 8:15, 8:30 minimum before you get home. That's 9 hours, including your travelling. And you get a fee of £40 and your travelling expenses for 9 hours. And you're concentrating all the time because you've got to get the decisions correct, and you've got all the laws of the game and the rules of the league, the match rules to administer. And you've got to keep the players in check and make sure everyone's doing everything right. Now, for me, you've got 9 hours there. And I'm not advocating a massive increase like this. But for when people say umpires only do it for the money, and it has been levelled at me several times in the past when I've umpired on the panel in leagues that I've umpired, it has been levelled at me, and I sort of laugh it off. I don't do it anymore, but I kind of laugh I don't do the umpiring anymore. I kind of laugh the accusation off, because let's just take a quick example. If someone wanted to do it for the money, you're talking about a 9-hour day there, including your travelling. Now, we've all got jobs through the week, and We're giving up our weekends. And I think some recompense is correct. If someone was wanting to do it for the money, your umpiring fee per game per umpire would surely need to be something like £125 a game, or even 150 for 9 hours, and you're travelling. And for the education that you have to accept to gain your qualifications, and also for paying for your gear, because you have to pay for your jacket and you have to pay for your shoes and things. You have to pay for all that. So I think the recompense for umpires at the minute of £40, say in the Premier League, plus travelling expenses, is very low, but clubs just can't afford any more. And there's not the support from the central board, the ECB, or even the county boards, for extra investment in umpires. I firmly believe, like I say, if anyone's going to be accused of doing it for the money, those accusers needs to give their heads a bit of a shake, because it needs to be 150 quid before anyone can be accused of that. Most umpires do it because they love the game, they've played the game, they like to watch the game, they like to give something back. It'd be wonderful to get more people to do it, and recruitment drives are constantly ongoing with varied success, I'm sure. But those are my thoughts on the people who say umpires only do it for the money. Well, you're wrong, because they don't, because it's not there. Thanks for listening, guys. Comments below as usual. Thank you.